Little Legends, The Spell Thief by Tom Percival. Chapter 6, Cave of the Sea Witch. Jack walked along the coastal path with Betsy under one arm. Tiny droplets of sea spray speckled his face. Even though the sun was shining, he still felt irritated. Nothing was going right. With a yell, he grabbed a stone and flung it out to sea as far as he could. Ripples radiated from where the stone had splashed, but instead of dying away, they grew larger and larger, forming tall waves that rushed outward in a huge circle. One moment Jack was staring at a calm, peaceful sea. The next it had transformed into an angry mass of water, swirling furiously closer and closer to the shore. Jack stepped backward as a wall of water suddenly towered above him. He turned to run, but it was too late. The next thing he knew, waves were crashing down all around him, and he was tumbling through the churning water. Jack's ears popped as he was dragged far, far beneath the surface, as he fought to hold his breath, but he couldn't go on much longer. What are you doing?" asked the voice. The water had stopped swirling, but Jack still felt cool pressure all around him. Jack pried one eye open and saw that he was in an underwater cavern, and there were walls lined with shelves holding all sorts of bottles and jars. Floating in front of him was a girl with an elegant curling fishtail instead of legs. "Hello," the girl continued, waving to get his attention. "Can you hear me? I just wondered what you were doing with the whole scrunched up face thing." She pretended that her eyes were bulging and puffed out her cheeks. Stars pricked behind Jack's eyes. He tried to mime the need to swim to the surface and take a breath, but the girl just stared at him. "I've never met a human before," she continued excitedly. "Is this how you communicate? How interesting. Let me try to guess what you mean." She stared at Jack as he desperately pointed upward and then to his mouth and lungs. "Let me see. You left your teeth above the water, and it makes your chest hurt." Jack shook his head furiously. Okay, muttered the girl. "No need to get angry." Just as he thought he was going to pass out, Jack opened his mouth and yelled, "I'm drowning!" His voice sounded unnatural through the water, all bubbly and muted. "You can speak!" exclaimed the girl brightly. "What's drowning?" Jack rolled his eyes. Just his luck. He'd been rescued by a mermaid who didn't even know what drowning was. Then he realized that there had been no rush of water into his lungs. In fact, he felt nothing at all. He realized the awful truth. "I'm dead," he said softly. "What?" squawked Betsy's voice from behind him. "Dead?" the girl laughed. "You're definitely not dead, and neither is your weird pet thing." She pointed at Betsy, who was busily pecking at some sea snails. Jack frowned. "So, how come I can breathe down here?" "That's easy. Magic." "Well, how did I get down here in the first place?" "Magic." "And how could I talk when there's no air?" "I'll give you one guess," said the mermaid. "Okay, but..." "Look," replied the girl. "I'm a sea witch, okay?" She curled a strand of hair around her finger and then added, "Well, I work for a sea witch, and she's sort of training me, but I can do some magic of my own." With a flick of her tail, she shot through the water, coming to a stop inches from Jack. "My name's Lily, or Lil, whichever you like. What's yours?" "I'm Jack," he replied. "And this is my hen, Betsy. How wonderful it is to meet you both. So what can I do for you today?" "Sorry?" "Well, you threw a magic stone into the sea, summoning a sea witch, so it's kind of a tradition that we do a deal now. You get a spell that you think will give you everything you want, but it's basically just a mean trick that always backfires." "Oh, right," said Jack. "That doesn't sound too great." Lily looked worried. "My boss would be furious if she knew I told you that. It's a good job. She's away harvesting ingredients this week." "Ingredients?" "Yeah, you know, tears, sorrow, firstborn children, that sort of thing." "Okay," replied Jack. "So this is a magic shop, and you sell spells?" "Yes," said Lily proudly. "But like I said, all sea witches' spells are kind of mean. And you and your hen thing seem to be nice." "What are the safest, least nasty spells you have?" Jack asked thoughtfully. Lily's face brightened. The nice ones are usually pretty safe. You know, spells to make you brave, kind, truthful, that sort of thing. You have a spell that can make you tell the truth? Asked Jack. Yep, replied Lily with a smile. Do you want to buy it? Said Jack. Well, I would, but I don't actually have any money. What's money? Asked Lily. This is a shop, exclaimed Jack. How do you sell things if you don't use money? Lily's eyes twinkled. We do things like take your soul, shorten your life by 10 years, swap a spell for your laugh, you know, the usual. Right, replied Jack. Maybe I'll leave it for today. It's such a lovely spell. I'm sure it is, but I like my laugh. What about your hen thing? Would you trade that? What? Squawked Betsy. No way, cried Jack. A leg, Lily went on. I don't think so. An arm? Nope. Finger? Jack looked thoughtfully at his hands and then slowly shook his head. A happy memory? No, wait, what do you mean? Oh, it's easy. Think of something happy and I pluck it out of your head and bottle it. Simple as that, said Lily. Does it hurt? You won't even know it's gone. Jack thought about it for less than a second. Okay, I'll do it. Lily quickly swam around the cavern 3 times in a row. Oh, Jack, you've made me so happy. My first day alone in the shop and I've already sold a spell. I knew I'd make a good sea witch. Okay, you ready? It was his birthday and he was wobbling along the lane outside his house on a wooden bike. His dad's hand was warm on his back. You're still holding me, aren't you? Asked Jack nervously. Of course, replied his father. Jack picked up speed. Still holding me? Jack asked. Yes, came his father's voice as they sped down the path around the bend and into the woods. Still got me? Asked Jack. Jack's father laughed as he ran alongside his son, his eyes shining in the afternoon sunlight. I let go as soon as you started pedaling. You did all that on your own, Jack. How does this work then? Jack asked. It's already done, said Lily, with a sad look in her eyes. I wish you hadn't chosen that one, though. It was lovely. What was? Asked Jack. Never mind, replied Lily. I suppose I should give you your spell now. She shot around the room, rummaging through the hundreds of bottles. Aha, she cried eventually, whirling around with a small turquoise bottle. Now this spell is simple. All you have to do is drink it, and then everything you say for 15 minutes can only be the truth. Pretty clever, eh? Yeah, replied Jack, thinking he probably shouldn't say what he was really planning to use the spell for. So I guess this is where we say goodbye, said Lily. But we've only just met. You've got 15 seconds before you start doing that drowning thing again, explained Lily. My magic isn't as strong as a real sea witch. Will I be able to come back? Asked Jack, as the water began to swirl around him once more. Find a stone shaped like a swan, shouted Lily over the roaring water. Betsy paddled frantically over to Jack, who pulled her tight. Then what? Shouted Jack. Same as before. Throw it into the sea, called Lily. Then she disappeared in a storm of bubbles.